Sure.
That's what we're going to cover today. Okay. All right. Are we ready? Are we rolling?
Yep.
All right. Controversies of the day with Logan and Jay. How you doing, everybody? Well, Logan, we had our first one-on-one battle. Maybe it's one and done. I don't know. They keep talking. One side wants a rematch, the other side doesn't want a rematch. Harris and Trump. I don't know. What did you think, buddy? Did you check that one out?
It was definitely a 3v1.
Yeah, 3-on-1 for sure. Oh my God, David Muir and Lindsay Davis, I think is her name, from ABC, and interesting those two. And wow, they tried to fact check Trump. They tried to correct him, but then they didn't do that to her at all. They asked her questions. She would go off on campaign, basically speeches, and not answer the question. It's like. But that's what politicians do, and I don't know. It's sad we don't have some good moderators to just hold them to the fire. And it's also funny, like when a politician does that, they're blah 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 blah. Like, okay, they're going to talk, but they're not really going to answer you. It'd be funny if the moderator just then asked the same question again just keep asking it until they get.
He more or less did that to Trump. I mean, I can't remember what the hell it was now. Was it the? God, what was it? He asked him 3 separate times to answer the question. Oh, you didn't answer the question. What the fuck was it?
I don't know. Was it there was so many things. January 6th they were throwing at him.
Yeah, well, I think one of them was January 6th. No, because she was the one who kept on questioning about that. What would you have done? Would you have done anything different? He answered the question. You guys are trying to make him admit to something that he doesn't have to admit. It didn't matter.
Yeah, he asked for more security.
They didn't give it to him.
They didn't give it to him. Which that whole thing is just weird.
They also started off the whole question with a lie.
Yeah.
Well, come on. Even Snopes fucking said that. They re-fact checked their fact check and said, oh well, we were wrong, and you guys still went with the same fucking lie. Like that's how you started off the question.
Yeah, I think she lied. Didn't she lie about January 6th? I thought she said some law enforcement people died. It was Ashley Babbitt, a protester, who died. Is that?
Yeah,
do I have that right?
The only person that died was.
Yeah, and I think there may have been someone who was there in law enforcement who died, like a few days later. At home or something, and I don't know if it's directly related.
There was a number of officers or people that had that kind of weird storyline, or there's like a handful of them that something happened outside of that day, and they want to try to say it happened because of things that happened that day. Like one of them got hit in the head, and then so on and so forth. But no, only one person died that day. He asked for more security. Pelosi didn't give it to him. The mayor of D.C. didn't give it to him. It doesn't land on him. That's outside of his control. So
love how you say Pelosi.
Pelosi,
it's
whatever.
Pelosi.
I don't give a shit.
But it's funnier when you say. I don't know if she's Polish, folks.
She was the one that was wrong. She's the one that purposely held up National Guard or more security.
I still don't understand what the F happened that day. And if people really care, well, what about this Ray Epps dude? What about these pipe bombs that were planted? There's so many questions that still are not properly been answered about what the hell happened.
What happened to the pipe bombs? Like, why would that did not nothing outside of like a day or two of the day, and then a couple days after, you never heard of that again. Well, what happened with that? I like how there was newscasts or reporters, news stations, whatever, would bring this up, saying it was the most horrific day in like American history since the Civil War.
Oh, there's people even compared it to 9/11.
Not even.
What the hell? We had almost 3,000 people. We're going to talk about 9/11 a little bit later, folks. Just had the anniversary. Close. Yeah, almost 3,000 people die. Horrible deaths. I mean, what are you talking about? This is what I'm saying. The left, the modern day left. Loony. I mean, wow. I mean, there's a lot of loonies out there. I know. They come in all shapes, sizes, and colors. They do. But the modern left, and I can't believe how people have fallen for it. It's, wow. I mean, it is amazing. I guess it's the Trump derangement syndrome, I guess, is what it is.
Retardation.
I mean, folks, look, I ripped on Trump on the show. Go back, watch our old shows, on YouTube and Rumble. Watch the shows. I'll say it again. Trump can be an a-hole sometimes. Yeah, he can be, but he's the a-hole we need right now. Okay. I mean, with what we got, this is what we got to do. I mean, I was mad watching that debate. I got really upset, I know I shouldn't, I got to calm down, but I thought it was pathetic in so many different levels, the moderators, I'm David Muir. Oh, I could have been an actor, but I wound up here. I just have to look good. I don't have to be clear. Oh. Come and whisper in my ear. Give me your dirty laundry. Yeah, Don Henley there, 1982. But yeah, he's just the total example of that. Pretty boy, thinks he's important. No, you're pathetic, David Muir. And Lindsay, you weren't too great either. But
her first fact check of the night about the abortion stuff.
Yeah, share that with me. Share that with everybody. You were talking to me earlier about that.
Was the ex-governor of Virginia?
Virginia, yeah.
And he was on radio, TV, talking about it. Yeah, well, baby will be born. We'll put it off to the side and make a decision on what the parents want to do, what the mother would want to do, and decide to terminate there and then. Like, what the fuck? That was stuff that was said. I'm pretty sure that was something he passed into law. And they want to sit here, and then she stands up and says, "Oh, there's no such law." Well, there was. Now, I guess the new governor could have possibly reversed that. But let's talk about Tim Walz and his little
in Minnesota,
where they've had 8 children that were born, and then decided the mother decided it, and she didn't want it, and they take care of the child then. 8 children, 8. So it's. To sit there and say he's lying about stuff that's actually happening just blows my mind. Just like even when they brought up Springfield, Ohio, and then David had to sit there and say, "Well, we talked to the city council or city manager." Yeah, because he wants to let this information go and make it sound like he's running some kind of shit show down there, which is blows my mind even more, because the moment you fucking turn on Twitter, that's all you see, especially after the debate. That's all you see. And now you get people that are now putting videos up that they're upset that people are just making fun of them about what's going on there.
Oh, yeah.
It's a serious problem, just like Aurora.
Yeah,
it's a serious
exactly.
problem.
These Venezuelan gangs taking over some apartment buildings. Yeah, in Aurora, Colorado. I mean, what? This is, you're bringing all these problems from other countries and you're letting them just invade our country. I always make this smart aleck joke of what can go wrong. Well, a lot can go wrong, and it's happening. And then they want to laugh it off. It's just, let's just sweep it under the rug. Let's hurry up and get to the election. Let's hurry up. Let's sprint. Let's get there. And just deny. And, Trump's, he's nuts. And, blah, blah, blah. He's evil. He's the devil. And we just got to get to the election. And
we can't just fix our shit first and let all these people in. Well, like Trump said during the debate, well, it looks like they want to get votes out of it. You're right. They're being brought over here. Yeah. They're being told, hey, we're going to give you all this free shit. You're going to get all this money. You're going to be able to do this, that, and the other. And if you don't vote for us, this guy's going to take it away. Understand that regardless of who wins, you guys are losing all that. All you people thinking you're getting all this free shit, these immigrants are going to lose all that shit. They're going to lose it. Because even if Kamala wins, she's not going to pay for it anymore. November 5th, you're done. You're cut off. You're not getting shit no more. That's going to happen from both sides. So be prepared for that. You think she's going to be your savior. You're just a vote. They're going to just get rid of you, just like they did with the black people in the past. They only beat your guys' drum is when it's the election season. Outside of that, they don't give a fuck what happens to you. They don't care. They let you burn down your own cities. They don't give a shit. And then they come and support you as if it's the right thing. To burn down where you live, what's good for you, it doesn't make sense. So again, regardless of who wins the election, they're gonna take away all your shit, and it's. I think that they're doing it. They don't get, well, one, they don't give a shit. They're just trying to buy votes, and two, they want that harshness to come down. They want that civil unrest between these groups of people, so they can come in and. Impose more control.
State. Yeah, maybe slap down the police state. I hope not. But you wonder what is it all about? I mean, there's several issues going on here, and I don't think it's just to rig the election, but there is something. The whole replacement theory. I mean, there's a lot going on there, and then again, some of these people may get fake Social Security cards eventually, and that money, once it's sent from employer to Washington, and they find out it's a fake one, Washington doesn't give that money back to those businesses. So
what I'm confused by is if all this shit's happening in Springfield, Ohio, and again, anecdotal as it may be, but a bunch of videos popping about accidents, car accidents, people's insurance are going up because of all the accidents been going up in the past 6 months.
Whoa.
How are these people getting licenses to be able to drive? it's like 1 out of 300 people from Haiti actually had a vehicle.
Wow.
So how the fuck are they coming over here? They don't know how to drive. They're not passing driving tests. They're just going to a DMV, given a license, and then there you go. Like, what the
Well,
fuck?
I can tell you that this is anecdotal, as you say, but this is the God's honest truth. I was working somewhere 20 years ago, and I was a guy, and he wasn't Haitian, but he was Hispanic, and he was here illegally, and he was bragging to me how he's been, driving here in America. At that time, he said, I don't know what the number was, like 3 or 4 years without a license. So you got a lot of that going on as well. So, I mean, it is just insane. And this brings up a whole other topic, folks. And that's the Clintons. That's right. I feel your pain, Haiti. Because the Clinton Foundation is supposed to have been helping Haiti. Yeah, where's all this money going? Bill Clinton, I think he may have sent some troops in there when he was president in the 90s, and they had just had a big mess. There was this guy that we gave all this money to. He has this weird nickname. They call him Baby Doc or something, and he took a bunch of the foreign aid and left the country. And so Haiti is just a freaking mess. And again, I thought the Clinton Foundation was supposed to be helping those folks out. I don't know. Maybe, they're just flying around and going to, rich people's islands and stuff like that, and not really doing the good work that they're supposed to be doing over there at that Clinton Foundation. Hey, Chelsea, you want to get on that, please? Would you please, Chelsea, get on that? But yeah, these poor, communities, especially in Ohio, you know Ohio pretty good, don't you, buddy? You got family there, don't you? Or
Mm-hmm.
something like that. Yeah. I mean, I've driven through the state a few times, and, it's been through a lot. They've had a lot of, economic troubles there and stuff. And now they're bringing in, all these people, and some of them, don't really speak English at all. And it's just, what a mess. And, these municipalities and these towns are going to have to deal with it.
Someone's got to be making money on it.
Oh, sure.
Is it worth selling out your town to the people? Like, how much? What's the kickback for these guys?
Yeah.
That's the question I like to know. And then I think the people that live there should be pushing that. Why are they coming here opposed to someplace else? And what?
And we do have a little problem. I brought up before, because I like to put it all on the table. We do have a lot of Americans, could be native born, and they're kind of lazy. They got to get out there and get, take some of those jobs. And
so I agree with that a little bit, but not to the extent where you're going to be bringing in, 30,000, Haitians into one town. No. Yeah, there's lazy fucking white people out there for sure, but they're also, those jobs are like low paying fucking shit, and I'm not going to waste I would believe the majority of people aren't going to waste their time on some bullshit job when you have companies that have no problem, bringing in lesser people to work these cheaper jobs. I see that. So people want to blame it on Americans. No, but you can blame it on the corporations, the companies that are hiring these people. They want to, low wages. Yeah, it's bad enough to where I work a pretty good job, but I have to find a second job just to make my ends meet. And my significant other works. She has to work a job. I have to work 2 jobs, or potentially, and we still would struggle then. So you can't sit there and say that, oh, well, it's just white people don't want to work. No, we don't want to work some shitty fucking job that you guys are paying.
I'm talking about a certain age group, demographic. Yeah, I anecdotally, I do see some.
Oh yeah, sure. The young fucking this COVID generation. Yeah, they've been given everything the past 2 years.
Right, they're very entitled to.
They were very, what do you call it? Everyone gets a trophy.
Participation trophy.
So.
Oh God, yeah, that's.
I get that, but at the same time, the majority of Americans that want to work, they're not.
Yeah.
Not just working because they don't want to. It's because the job's not. You got to find something better. We can't all just work. My schedule. It's hard for me to find a second job now because of how I work.
So Trump's bringing up these situations, but they just want to make fun of him until we can get to the election, and then later on, we're going to see what's going to happen. But these areas around the country, I mean, you're seeing it, Colorado. You're seeing what's going on. People in Ohio, you're seeing what's going on all over the country. Yeah, anecdotally, I heard there was a situation, there was a bus full of immigrants, that had come, in from Texas or somewhere, and it came to the small little Illinois town, I think in Will County, Illinois. I think it's called Coal City. And supposedly the local law enforcement or mayor, whatever, found out about this, and it came in like the middle of the night, and they're going to drop all these people off, and he had his law enforcement there. He said, nope. So I don't know if that's just anecdotal. I'll try to look into that and get back to you on that one. And they went somewhere else. So I don't know if they went more into Chicago. It's been very interesting. I know Lori.
Woodstock.
Oh, really? Ooh,
I heard stories about buses getting dropped off in Woodstock.
Yeah. I mean, there was some weird stuff when Lori Lightfoot was mayor of Chicago, which she's not anymore. Where she was trying to turn them away from Chicago, even though she's our sanctuary city. So, no, this is definitely a problem. And, Trump does lie. He does exaggerate like all politicians do. But this is real. This is not a joke. And, these municipalities, they got to deal with this stuff until, we get the border under control, which apparently, for whatever the reason is, we've pondered some of the reasons here, maybe. But there's clearly at least one agenda, if not several. I would say there's several, is what I'm guessing. But, it's pathetic. And again, we are a nation of immigrants. Don't give it, you guys are white. Yes, but we all have an immigrant story. And I'll say that loud and clear. We're all immigrants. We all come from immigrants. Unless you're a Potawatomi or a Sioux or a Seminole or, Cherokee, you know what I'm saying? Everybody came from somewhere else. So, anyway.
But there's a difference between what's going on and how we formed as a nation.
Right, exactly.
We colonized.
Yes.
They are just taking over.
Yeah.
It's a big difference.
And then you get the whole gang thing and, the drug cartels, and the cartels are part of the human trafficking, and, And I would just love if David Muir had said that to Kamala. Well, would you ever think if you become president of using military force to do something about these, what you call a transnational criminal? Yeah. Because she I don't know if you saw that she
prosecuted.
She prosecuted transnational criminals. I'm the only one up here who's did that. Okay.
Yeah, you know how you got to that job?
Oh man, Willie Brown, you lucky guy, you lucky guy, you. Oh, I don't know. I know you don't like her, but I mean, I don't like her, but I like her. I kind of dig her.
You got problems.
I know. I hear that. I know a lot, but what can you do?
You said something. I can't remember what the hell I was going to say now.
I like chicks with brown eyes. I don't know. That's just me. I have blue eyes, so I hope they dig my blue eyes. But there's a lot of beautiful women with blue eyes, but I don't know. Brown eyes are just, it's my thing. But yeah, I mean, it should be easy on the eye for 4 years if she's president, but I don't see anything there, folks. There is no there, okay?
There's nothing up here.
She does not seem to be a very bright person. She definitely was well rehearsed. I'll give her that. She kept doing the you thing, like, oh, they really wanted her to push that, like she cares about you, and we don't want to go back, and Trump's backwards. Like, well, no, I think we do want to go back to low inflation and high employment and borders under control and peace in the world, or at least calm in the world. And we do want to go back to some of that. Yeah, we do. Yeah.
She never answered the question. But she never answered the question about the pipeline shit. That was something that kind of bothered me.
Yeah.
They wanted to keep on pressing Trump about him and his January 6th shit. Why didn't he? And Trump brought up that pipeline so many times. Why wouldn't you answer that? Why did we shut down our pipeline and then you let Russia, with all the Russian collusion, why? Why would you guys allow that to happen? Like, no answer, nothing. What about your fracking shit? I've never been. Oh, dude, video after video after video of your old fucking campaign, your old talking points.
Yeah.
What changed? Now all of a sudden you just don't want it to be brought up again? You're trying to delete it from history, just like the whole borders are thing? Like, what? It doesn't make sense. Like, I fucking hate debates because they're never about policies, right? I understand these guys don't have clear cut what they can say or what they are going to do, but it's never about policies. Like, she attacked him about everything he done, like every fucking statement, every beginning of one of her rambling ons all started with, well, he's this and he's that, but bitch, you had 3.5 fucking years. Why didn't you fix these problems? You say, well, what's your plan for inflation? How are you gonna make America better with that? Huh? You have 3.5 years. There's no inkling of a fucking policy.
And this is something you all are feeling, whether you like us, or you like Donald Trump, or you like Kamala. Everyone is experiencing inflation. You are all feeling your dollar going less when you go to the grocery store. You're feeling it now for a few years. I mean, this has been horrible. And yeah, they gotta get tough, and that's the hard part, because when they're campaigning, they gotta be Santa Claus. Oh, I'm gonna give this, and we're gonna do this, and we're gonna have $25,000 for first-time home buyers, and we're gonna do this for small business, and it's all Santa Claus, instead of saying, yeah, we're going to have to tighten our belts, and we really need to go into the government, and we're going to have to fire a whole bunch of people, and we're going to need to bring the size of government down, because that would help with inflation. Also, the Fed. I mean, people got to look at the Fed. I think Jerome Powell has done a horrible job. But, I don't know. Everybody puts their spin on all that kind of stuff. So
I just want to find a supporter and be like, what? How? How is she going to fix it? How? You support her because she says this. What has she said about this? Give me some clear answer. Give me a path to follow, something to look into, because she hasn't given any fucking reason, anything. There's nothing there. So you guys are supporting what? You just for the absolute hatred of Trump. That's it. That's the only reason.
It's really bizarre. I mean, like you say, what's this term? PSYOP, psychological operation, right? Is that what that stands for? I mean, it's like what all these campaigns are all about. They try to control people's brains. People are not using their brains objectively and actually talking about, like you say, policies and issues. And let's get into the meat, the thing. Oh, people, they're too stupid for that. Well, that's the other part of the problem. People got to stop being so damn stupid. We need to bring down inflation. They got to stop the government spending. The Fed needs to do a better job. And then if this guy's Jerome Powell can't do it, you need to get some better people in there. There's that.
We need to stop sending billions of dollars overseas.
Yeah.
Like, stop it with that fucking shit.
Exactly.
Stop it. Just stop.
And we got to get our debt situation under control. I mean, just stop the bleeding anyway, okay? I know it's never going to get paid off in our lifetime. I know that. But let's stop the bleeding. How about Congress with some balanced budgets? I mean, this is ridiculous. And so,
any candidate that wants to sit there and be president, America first, every fucking time. I don't give a shit about Israel. I don't give a fuck about Iran, China, Africa.
Oh, what about Ukraine? Don't you care?
Don't give a fuck about Ukraine. Most of all, don't give a fuck about Ukraine.
Zelensky. Oh,
we need to. If you are not America first, you should not be any of the people that we picked to be this fucking country. You're the president of this country. This fucking country. Don't give a fuck about any of those other people. Americans should be worried about fucking America, not the Ukraine, not whatever's happening in the Middle East. None of that shit. Worry about our veterans, the homeless people, the problems that we have in this fucking country.
Right.
Worry about that. Why do you And that's what Trump wants. We hear that every fucking time. He repeats it nonstop.
And that's what we saw in 2016, even with Bernie, with his leftist version of it. Populism, and then they go, oh, populism, well, it's really stupid. No, it's because we, the working class and middle class of this country, we're getting just squeezed and squeezed and squeezed. Rich are getting richer, and these people below us who are bottom feeders, and now you got immigrants coming in to be bottom feeders as well. Again, yeah.
It doesn't make sense.
No,
if you're for this country, regardless if you hate Trump or not, or you hate Kamala or not, if you're for this country, you should be voting for the person who's worried about this country. I think Trump is worried about this country.
I really hope that's his motivation, that his children and grandchildren are what motivates him to keep our country strong.
If he was such a fucking prick and he didn't want any of the things he says he's done, and he's done a pretty good track record his first time around, why wouldn't he have done all this evil shit or not done the shit he said he was going to do the first term? So people say, oh, he's going to do it. He had 4 fucking years, people. He didn't do all this shit that you guys said he was going to do then, and all the same shit that you're saying that he's going to do now. He didn't do it then. So why would you think that anything's going to change? But we've seen what 4 years of Trump was, and we've seen what 4 years of Harris was.
Biden-Harris, yeah.
We've already seen it. So you're legitimately going to say that it was better the past 3 years than it was for the 4 years of Trump.
And we know
with
Biden.
A straight face.
We all know now that Biden has, he hasn't really all been involved. So who's been running the show? I mean, she's there, so she could be one of them.
Again, I'm going to go back to this.
I don't even know who the answer is. Is it the cabinet? Who's
these people ain't stupid
Jill?
that are running our government. They ain't stupid. So you're telling me that she's the pick? She can't. You can't be serious.
Poor Gavin. Oh.
You can't be serious that's who they're picking. This woman is lucky. By the grace of God, she can probably wipe her ass. And you're going to say she's going to run our country?
My guess is Michelle didn't want it. Because why would she? Why would she? I know she's not qualified, but the point is,
I'd feel more comfortable if she was up there.
Really?
Honest to God,
Really?
I would feel better knowing that Michelle was up there.
Right.
At least I feel that I'd have someone bigger that would actually probably be able to stand up against like Putin or
Well, here's to you, Miss Robinson.
She is just not capable. She's not capable. I don't think she's capable.
No, I don't. I'm not. I don't either. I'm really. This is what I'm very concerned about.
Blows my mind.
I don't see any there at all. I mean, come on, lady. Come on. If you're smart, show us. Because he just blah blah blah. It's like, whoa, are you nervous? Are you drunk? What's going on with the cackle, the crazy cackle? That's really going to drive you nuts for 4 years.
That's the whole fucking reason. The whole reason that they didn't have an audience. Because if she had an audience in front of her, I bet you that cackling word salad shit would have came out. Yeah. I think she gets nervous, and that's her defense mechanism. That's exactly what the fuck that was. That's why they didn't have a fucking audience.
Yeah, they really worked. I think the coaching, the debate coaching, worked with her on that to keep that laugh under control.
They tried.
They wanted to keep
her.
Just give him a look. Just give him that look. Just give him that look.
So pretentious.
Yeah.
Like, who the fuck do you think you are? Like, and I love it. He never made direct eye contact. The only time he even looked in that direction was like, be quiet. I'm talking now.
Oh yeah, that was good. Yeah, that was.
Come on.
That was great. He got her with a couple zingers. I can't remember them all off the top of my head, but there was a couple zingers in there. Oh yeah. Well, interesting theater, folks. Are we going to have another one? I don't know. They each kind of like, I think there should be at least one more, and then obviously the VP guys are going to. That should be interesting too. A young senator versus an older, governor. That should be interesting.
I think it's going to be the same. Well, I don't. I think JD will be a little bit more. I think he'll. I think he'll be more of a smart ass. I think Trump, he knows he has to really stay in his lane because if
he's with a lady, he's got the lady. Gotta be careful.
If he does anything too catty, right, they're gonna fucking just dig him ass in the media. But at the same time, I don't think he gives a fuck about that really. I think he really just wants to stay on point, talk about immigration's the worst thing. Immigration, and then the economy.
Inflation.
You gotta beat that into the heads because that's it. So when it's all said and done, and they all say, "Well, what was the debate about?" Well, Trump only talked about, "Oh fuck, immigration," and then everyone's gonna see it. "Oh fuck, inflation." Everyone's gonna see it when they're, So he's beating that drum. I mean, really, out of the messages, what message did you get from Kamala out of that whole debate? Because I'll tell you what I got from Trump. Immigration and inflation. So honestly, what do you remember her talking about? Because I'm not even being a dick. I really can't remember too many talking points.
These generalizations and you, like, I'm going to be here for you. You definitely pounded that home. They definitely, worked on her with that script. And, no, I didn't hear much policy. I like her. I'll be nice and fair to the audience. I like her small business stuff she was talking about. Is she sincere about that?
Didn't she sign some bullshit about fucking taxing the tips, the tip taxing stuff? She had signed something against it, and now she's for it. Oh, and then the small business thing. Bitch, you shut down businesses during fucking COVID.
Yeah.
You shut down mom and pops. All these small businesses you fucking love all disappeared under your fucking watch, and people like Walmart and Amazon fucking like their profit margin jumped up like threefold.
Yeah.
So to sit there and say you're all about fucking small shit, you're full of it. You're fucking full of it. Get the fuck out of here.
Woo! Tell them how you really feel, Logan.
Well, again, it's
well,
like the
no,
attention
you're
span
absolutely
in this
right.
country's fucking horrible because they all look at this. Oh, she's for the small businesses.
Yeah.
No, she's fucking not. That's another lie.
Yeah.
Where's the fact checking on this shit?
Yeah, no, it's true. It's a mess, and I mean, I don't believe in her at all. And I know, I have my doubts about Trump as well. I think maybe we have some hope with Trump, maybe. And again, if Tulsi Gabbard and RFK Jr. Are able to be a part of his transition team and help him to establish a cabinet and a bunch of appointees, it could be very interesting for our country. And some Democrats should take, again, I said this before, they should take a little bit of, a little victory in that, if that all goes, if it all really happens, so. And there was Kamala. She's up there. Oh, there's over 200 Republicans that are for me. All these Bush types, like Dick Cheney, like Adam Kinzinger,
all
Liz Cheney,
neocons
and Mitt Romney, Willard Romney. What's wrong with you conservative Mormons in Utah? Why that bozo? That guy's a spoiled brat bozo. He's one of those people that just really makes me sick. People are like, oh, you're all on the right. You're supposed to like each other. No. You need to understand, there are Republicrats, Demopublicans, and this situation here, when Tulsi Gabbard says warmongers, this is what she's talking about, okay?
The real uniparty.
Yeah, the real uniparty. This is what we're talking about. You can have a D, you can have an R. It doesn't really matter, folks. It's really what you're for or what you're against. That's what counts here. And yeah, Dick Cheney, I mean, you're proud of that lady? You're proud? A guy that, many Dems and many lefties were calling a war criminal back in 20 years ago, and they may be right about that. Yeah. Oh my God. No. Anyway, so what a mess it is. Moving along to 9/11 a little bit. We just had the 23rd anniversary of 9/11. Horrible day. Interesting. I don't know if you saw it, but Michael Bloomberg was standing between Trump and Joe Biden. I don't know if Biden and Trump shook hands. Vance was there also. Harris and Trump did shake hands. It was at the memorial just the other day. Very interesting. And one of the victims, I think a wife who lost her husband, she spoke and she got mad about the government and this even considering making some deal for a trial for the people that have been charged or with Tom Obey. I mean, it's just, oh my God, what are you talking about? I mean, it's just, yeah, I mean, it's just insane that our government would even think about possibly letting any of those people go. But thank God that didn't happen. Again, that was an awful day. One of our worst in our nation's probably history. And, I don't know. You were in high school back then? Mm-hmm. Okay. I had just come home from work, and ironically enough, I was working night shift, and I didn't put the TV on. I usually always have the TV on. For some reason, I didn't turn it on, and then my wife calls me from work. She was working first shift. This is what we did back in the day, so we didn't have to pay for childcare, and we worked different shifts, and it's hard. But anyway, she called me. Did you see what happened? And I'm like, no. I turned the TV on, and then I was gonna take my normal sort of daytime nap. And I didn't. I just, was glued to the TV all morning, and I couldn't believe it. And it felt funny. The Pentagon felt funny at first. That really.
At first?
Well, it felt funny from the get-go, and then, and it stayed funny. It really felt like that Fight Club punching yourself in the face kind of thing. It was just a little right off the bat. And, and then as it went on and on, I was just like, okay, this is amazing. This is amazing. I mean, prior to this, I was already a conspiracy kook, probably for a good 10 years or more. And in my conspiracy kookiness, I read a lot of conspiracies that involved the Bush family. Mostly the dad, Bush 41, our 41st president, George Herbert Walker Bush. As I've said on here, I got this weird thing for the guy. He's dead. He probably was a Satan worshiper. The whole family probably are. I don't know, But yeah, I can tell you some cool stuff about the guy. It's a dorky thing to say. Hey, I'm kind of an expert. I don't know. I'm in the ballpark. I'd say that. I actually can tell you some cool stuff about the guy. I did have some respect for him. The way you respect sort of maybe a mafia don. It's not admiration, but you have this respect. The frickin' kid. What a joke. What a joke. I mean, what about George W. should anybody respect? What did he ever do? I mean, his dad was, again, evil dude, but I think he was one of the youngest fighter pilots in World War II. You know what I mean? He actually got shot down. He was floating in the ocean there, could have been eaten by sharks. But the devil probably protected him pretty good. I don't know. But, W, help me out. Is there anything anybody can say about the guy? What can you say about him? I mean, what a horrible president. And again, this all ties back to Dick Cheney, who just endorsed Kamala Harris. Wow. I mean, I don't know. It boggles the mind, dude. It boggles the mind. But yeah, he had to have Dick Cheney in from his dad's administration. Dick Cheney had been Bush 41's defense secretary. So he brings him in as VP. I don't know why W didn't take the guy he ran against in the Republican primaries, Senator John McCain. Why not? Weird. But it almost seemed like Dick Cheney and the others who came in, Colin Powell and others, Donald Rumsfeld, like they had to be there to chaperone. I don't know if you ever look back at that way, but like Daddy's old crew had to be there to chaperone little Junior around,
Well, I'm sure it's the same thing with Biden right now with Obama's old crew, or at least some kind of affiliations controlling stuff.
It's kind of that deep state. Yeah. Some of them never really go away. They're always there. But September 11th was awful, horrible, and yet there was also some incredible things there. There was human beings who gave their life or risked their life to go in to save other human beings. The emergency workers that day, the firemen, the EMTs, the police. I mean, it was just, there's some incredible stories of human beings that they went in there to save other people. And we never should forget them, That was some horrible stuff that went on there. But I also fear that, we're going to have another 9/11 here. That's my other big concern. And of course, with all this other talk of people that we haven't vetted, we've let into our country, again, I always say, what can go wrong? At some point, you're just like, this doesn't make any sense at all. This is really dangerous. Gee, 23 years ago, we just had a terrible thing happen from people that maybe shouldn't have been here from the get-go.
See, that's...
All right, go ahead.
That it's not because of these, 19 or 17 people?
Hijackers,
no. It was nothing to do with hijackers. You're telling me 2 buildings disappeared to dust, disintegrated into dust, just like that, gone, where these things were made by the engineer who's publicly said many of times that they were able to withstand 707s hitting these things. There's not been a high-rise building ever since and before that's been on fire that's collapsed. I mean, you're talking about tons of steel that held these things up and they just collapsed. And then you have building 7.
That's the weird one.
A little fire, and it came down in free form. You can put it side by side with actual demolition.
Yeah.
And it comes down just the same.
It's almost free form.
And then you want to talk about the Pentagon. So out of all the cameras in that whole city, you never have seen a plane go low. You've never seen any video of a plane coming into the city at all. Like no hotel cameras, no security footage for anything, nothing. So you're given, not to mention the FBI went around to every business, every private residence that had any kind of video footage of this, any angle on it, scooped it all up, and then revealed 5 frames from one view, and of which you see 2 of those frames, you actually see what they're calling a plane hit the Pentagon. That's it. That's all we have. 23 fucking years, and we have not seen any. There's no some asshole with their whatever. No other security.
And you just think, well, this is where the government is. Shouldn't this be the most secure place in the country?
There should be more cameras than anything. We should have had multiple views of a plane coming fucking from the sky, coming down. You should have saw.
And shouldn't there be something to shoot it out of the sky if they, once it broke through the air?
You would think.
And that's the whole other thing. The whole NORAD thing is so
all those
weird.
happened to be war games that day. Don't you find it funny that anytime we have a crisis in this country, they just happen to be doing some kind of preparation situation for it, just like the first bombing of the fucking Twin Towers. They just happened to be doing some kind of fucking bomb prevention shit when that happened. Coincidental with all the air forces. Half of our air force on the East Coast was fucking up and down doing these battle practices. Fucking weird. Generals and commanders weren't sitting at their posts because they were doing other things. Training. Fucking kind of weird, don't you think? So yeah, there's a lot of weird shit that happens to it. And all these people that fucking failed, they all failed upwards because a lot of these generals, a lot of these people in charge,
oh my God,
ended up getting promotions and getting higher positions.
Talk about the, participation trophy.
Yeah, no shit.
Oh my God, that was some of the worst ever. Oh, aren't you guys on the right? You can't rip our... We rip our Republicans all day long. I told you that. We're not going to leave any stone unturned. Horrible, dude. Just horrible. A lot of people love hate Trump. Some people hate Obama. I'm still stuck on the Bush Cheney administration. I thought they were, in my lifetime, probably the scariest administration we've had. I mean, when you look at it, people go, "Oh, Alex Jones." No, Alex Jones does not have a patent on conspiracies. Okay, he's a guy. He's made a bunch of money, a bunch of stuff, and some of it he's been right about, some of it he's been wrong about. Okay, that's all he is. There's a whole bunch of people talking about this stuff. To me, it's pretty simple, Log. I mean, look, if there either was massive conspiracy where perhaps government was involved and made this happen, or there's another conspiracy that the government did find out about all this. The FBI people were doing their job and they let it happen. Don't let it, what's the line? Don't let a good crisis go to waste, or don't let a crisis go to waste. And they knew this was they let it happen. So there's those conspiracy theories, if you will. But let's say you don't believe in conspiracy theories. Well, here's the other problem. Well, then a whole bunch of people, and not just one or two, help me out, Log, a lot of people in different departments all failed, all did a shit job, all inept, not qualified, shouldn't have been there, because they screwed up all at the same time on the same day, and they didn't protect America better.
And no one got fired.
No one got fired. In fact, and this is something, again, I will never forgive, and I will never forget this. And I got several of those things, okay? Because these are facts for you. David Pakman, and David Muir, and Stephanopoulos, and even Sean Hannity. Yeah, all you people over at Fox 666. That's what Fox is. It is.
Take a breath.
George Tenet. Now, this happens, and it's weird and it's creepy, and there's no, Fauci putting his hand on deep state. No, there is a deep state. Some of it's not even deep. It's right there at the top. I mean, you can see it, boom, right there. George Tenet was Bill Clinton's CIA guy. George W., he kept him on. Now, these things do happen sometimes. Obama kept on Robert McFarlane, I think, as the Secretary of Defense. That was Bush's guy, okay? Obama kept Ben Bernanke for a while at the Fed. These things happen. But when September 11th happened, I mean, wouldn't you be looking at George Tenet, a Clintonista, from the Clinton administration, and going, "Oh, well, we better fire him. George didn't do a good job." He kept him on. And then when he left, and look this up if you have a problem, okay? This is Alex Jones, David Icke, and all that. No, look it up. He gives them this Medal of Freedom award. Again, folks, this participation. You failed Almost 3,000 people died, George Tenet. You failed. And they give him this medal, dude.
But did he fail?
And then he leaves. Okay, well, I'm saying he's one of many who fail all at the same time. If you don't believe in a conspiracy, just think about it. And he had a multi-million-dollar, I think at least a $6 million book deal waiting for him at Simon & Schuster. Talk about failing upward. Wow, what you just said. This underlined George Tenet. There's one of your several poster childs for failing upward. There you go, right there, George Tenet. So if you have any problem with any of that, please do your due diligence. Look that up. Is Jay a cuckoo bird? Did I just make stuff up? Go look it up, folks. That all really happened. So anyway, I don't know if George Tenet was a mastermind behind anything, but I would call that failure, you know. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, again, are you talking about if it's not a conspiracy? Yeah, he did bad. I think it is a conspiracy, so I don't think any of that shit matters. And I think he was rewarded for letting it happen.
There you go.
I mean, that'd be my take.
That would be the most simple and direct straight line, because they're like, well, I think the shortest distance between two points is a straight line. It's Occam's razor. Probably the simplest explanation is the right one. Oh, God, these people just want to debunk conspiracies. It's just ridiculous. So much went wrong there.
I think there's so much. I think it was intent. Not saying there's ever anything perfect. You know, you've talked about it before with like JFK, even the Trump thing. You know, there's botches all the time. Nothing lines out. I think this is probably the same, but I think this was multi-layered, if not. Again, it was so
compartmentalized
that they were able to have different people that knew different things push that information to have different things happen. We find it funny that the day before this happened, Donald, was it Rumsfeld?
Yes.
Is sitting in front of the Congress saying $1 trillion has just disappeared.
I think it's actually over $2 trillion. Just to correct you.
We find it funny a month before all this happens that a bunch of small private, what do you call it, stock companies
started shorting American Airlines. Yeah.
Then we find that funny. Then we find it funny that a month before this happens, some fucking rich motherfucker buys up the Twin Towers, negotiates
Larry Silverstein.
Yeah, negotiates an unheard of insurance policy to double up the cost. What it was like some fucking crazy amount of money. Where like 30 or 20 something different insurance brokers had to get together just to facilitate this deal for this man for a terrorism
busted
attack.
One of them, I think. Ultimately, they had I don't know if they went bankrupt.
And a week later, he gets cashed out on that over like $2 trillion, some crazy shit. We don't find, again, different people, different information, able to let things happen. Again, thermite found, you know, I find it funny too that when these buildings came down, cars were like, and you can go look back at old footage, cars that were in the street that were covered in this dust. And I say dust, I don't say debris, I say dust. Because I find it real hard that you have all these buildings, like, there's not a lot of debris. I mean, there really isn't. They all fell into the basement, right? But you don't actually see a lot of debris. It just seemed to all turn to dust. But cars were like, that were covered in this shit look like they're just destroyed, like burnt. But we're able to see papers and files from filing cabinets from the building. Like, I don't know. It's just
the passport for one of the terrorists.
I just find it funny that you had metal.
Look that up, kids. Look that up.
That metal from these buildings, all this steel was pulverized or just literally to dust. But paper was able to flutter down to the ground. A lot of weird shit can go through your head. You look at some of the new kind of reanalyzed stuff. You know, a lot of different types of weapons, or different things could be doing that. Not to mention the thermite thing of cutting these beams. We've seen tons of evidence of that. I mean, they found all this shit in the fucking dust, and when they were doing their initial surveys and data collection,
It's very disturbing, and here's what I always do. Here's what I always want to say, Logue. I know you've done a lot of research on this over the years, and I have too. And some things I've probably forgotten. And this is literally something we could just talk about for hours. But let me just say, to anyone who doesn't want to believe in the conspiracy side of it, what I say is, okay, I get it. There's a psychological and emotional problem. Some people just do not accept that their own government could have done this intentionally to its own citizens, and that American life is actually very cheap to them.
as a friend of mine said one time. People just don't want to own that. They just don't want to own it, And of course, you can look through lots of things. The Vietnam War, for example. Someday we'll maybe do a whole show on that.
Child trafficking, for fuck's
sake. Child trafficking.
If we can acknowledge that that's real, then you have to be able to say, yes, our government would fucking kill us for this.
And people just don't want to. I get it. They psychologically and emotionally, they have to be in denial. And this is where they're at. If you want to understand this, the first video I would say to somebody who would be willing to look at it, which nowadays people just put up these mental walls and they don't want to, is called 9/11 Press Truth. I don't know if you've ever seen this one. It's available at some public libraries. The DVD. It features the Jersey girls. These are some of the wives who lost their husbands. I don't know if they work for Cantor Fitzgerald or where they work, but they worked in the towers and they lost their husbands and they were called the Jersey girls. And they're the ones who really pushed for a whole 9/11 investigation. And the work that this video shows is primarily of a guy named, I think it's David Ray Griffin, I'm not sure. And it's a very good video, and they do not directly accuse conspiracy. But they lay the timeline and all the facts down that, and here's how I would describe it, ladies and gentlemen. Instead of saying, oh yeah, this is a big conspiracy, they kind of go, they're showing you all this stuff. And they don't quite, say what we're saying here. But you just watch that video alone, and again, you got either a huge blunder and a lot of people in a lot of powerful positions blundering all at the same time in the same day, or there had to be some coordination from the powers that be. Or the powers that be knew about it and they just let it happen because they wanted it to happen. It's hard to have a different. I mean, those are three generalized things, but anyway.
I can't see that these terrorists did this. So you're telling me these guys?
No, I'm trying to get in the head of people that can't fathom that it's a conspiracy.
I'm just saying that they even put that apart. That has that fucking non-point, because you're telling me these guys were able to do the most sophisticated attack on like one of the best heavily defended fucking countries in the world, and you guys haven't done it again. It hasn't happened again. Nothing like this. We just left Afghanistan. We left all our fucking toys there, and you guys haven't attacked us yet? With all the good, cool fucking toys that you guys got that we left there, you guys haven't even made an attempt to do it again. So for me to think that they were able to devise that plan and do what they did in New York, and nothing else has happened since, and technology's only gotten better. You guys have gotten more covert. I mean, you guys are coming across our border right now.
From several different countries, it's not just Mexico.
It's like a fucking movie in the making. It's like some fucking Tom Clancy shit's about to go down.
Yeah, exactly. So I'll just say, I'll just go back to the beginning real quick, and then you can have some final words here if you have more to say. Obviously, this is something we could go on and on about. There's so much there, but I just want to mention 9/11 Press Truth. I think it's an excellent video. It's non-conspiratorial, and yet, if you have half a brain, you're just going to have these questions of how did this happen then?
It gives you the insinuation.
Yes, absolutely. For me, I just want to say, I remember 1993, and you brought it up about 15 minutes ago or so, 20 minutes ago, and you're absolutely right. There was an attempt in early 1993 to take those towers down then. And there was explosions, and the FBI did their job. Some heroic people were doing their job that day, and they prevented that from happening. So that's 1993. So then I go there in 1998. My trip to New York City. Thank you, Billy. I go to New York City, and the wife and I go on the Empire State Building, and we look at Lower Manhattan, and it was a cloudy, gloomy day. I got to show you this picture sometime, Logan. Maybe we'll actually put it on we'll show the audience. And we took a picture of the towers. So I'm there, and I read the Time Magazine article that claimed, again, Time Magazine establishment rag, Henry Luce's rag. But I'm just telling you what they said, okay? I read Time Magazine. I probably have it somewhere buried in all my crap. My wife wants me to get rid of all that crap. That the idea was that they wanted, the terrorists in 1993 now, wanted to have the explosions go off at the bottom, and they wanted the towers to fall into each other and have a domino effect of falling skyscrapers in the city. So I'm there on the Empire State Building looking at this cloudy, gloomy, now ominous day, in New York City, and I'm looking at the towers, and I'm like, oh, wow, that's what the terrorists wanted to take down 5 years prior. And I'm just like, I'm seeing it in my head, and them, falling like a domino thing. Exactly. And then 3 years later, they literally go down. They go down differently, more like you say, more like controlled demolition. And, and I just, and I hated the news, and I hated Fox back then. I'm liking Fox more these days. Still, I mean, I would never trust Sean Hannity and Laura Ingraham and people like that who were still from that old crew. I never would, or that one Shepherd guy too, him too. All of them, Bill O'Reilly, all the people that were big back then at Fox. But they were, by the way, I'll just say right now, just as MSDNC and CNN are really an arm of the Democrat Party now. I mean, Fox definitely was a part of the Bush administration. I mean, they really were. They were talking about major propaganda. People are like, oh, the unthinkable happened. I'm like, wait a minute, the unthinkable happened. They just tried to do this in 1993. These towers are a known target. And that's just something that always bothered me. And I rarely ever heard anybody, any politician, any academic, especially any media person, acknowledge this was a known target. Sometimes targets are known. And, anyway, it is what it is. It's a horrible thing. And I hope nothing like that ever happens here again, my friend. But I do worry that, we may have something even worse at some point. It may make people even forget about 9/11 to some extent, Remember when Newt Gingrich said, it's a modern day Pearl Harbor? I thought, you fucking slimeball.
No, I don't even agree with that.
Because to me, Pearl Harbor's a whole other topic that's kind of a lot of conspiratorial stuff attached to that. And then, here it was, and we're going to have this war, and people were talking like, well, the war it'll be never ending war. It'll be just, like, what the fuck? And anyway, but if you want to wrap this up, you got some final thoughts on 9/11 and the whole situation. I'll let you wrap it up, because I could just go on and on, it's just so much to cover, but,
no, I remember it, and I think a lot of people are forgetting about it. I mean, even yesterday. Just didn't seem like I saw too much about it. I mean, I didn't have a chance to watch the news. I'm sure they say something, but yeah, I remember it was more of a bigger deal. We'd all have that moment of silence in the morning, and I just don't feel like that's remembered anymore. It's going to turn into. I don't even think it's going to turn into a day like
Patriot Day.
I think it should be a fucking day. It was horrible. I mean, it was horrible. It was the first moment that I probably understood what surreal meant when I watched the second plane hit the tower. It was always a word, blah, blah, blah. It feels so real. No, this felt out of body. Like it just really happened. Like it's sad, and obviously I didn't get into the conspiracy side or any of the real what happened side until talk shit about David Icke. A buddy of mine gave me a David Icke book about 9/11. And about the Bush family.
Oh, he's an interesting dude. He's an interesting dude. I just want to...
And that really opened it up. And then maybe a few months later, I learned who Alex Jones was. And that's what kind of it got me thinking outside of the normie type thinking model. Like, the news isn't always right. The news is, well, fuck that. Now the news is just propaganda. It's the biggest proponent of the propaganda getting pushed in this country. Yeah. So those guys were definitely eye-openers. They gave me the chance to actually think for myself and gain some kind of critical thinking. Yeah, not everything they say I believe, not everything they say is real, but it gives you a chance to think outside the box and mix up ideas and come out on the other side more informed. I think you would be listening to these folks and hearing what they have to say than you would the media. Yeah. But it was a sad day. It's horrible regardless of what actually happened. I think it's it's a lie. I think we've been lied to. There was more at play than just random terrorists that came from caves in Afghanistan and was able to pull off the most sophisticated attack against the most sophisticated country at the time. I don't believe that for one second.
And are there still files that are not been released?
I would imagine so.
Yeah, okay. I mean,
on some hard drive that mysteriously got deleted for some reason.
Yeah, and wasn't and so Dick Cheney now he's up there in age, and you got Kamala's proud that Dick Cheney and Adam Kinzinger and all these other so-called 200 Republicans are all behind her now.
Let's remember these Republicans that are behind her. What are they gaining from whatever defense contracts that they might be? I bet you there's a very large list of defense contracts behind these Republicans, because it sounds like they're all the fucking warmongers from back of
there you go
2001.
It's in both it's in both parties. Sad to say, folks, and history tends to repeat itself, and if it doesn't, it sure does rhyme. Somebody once said that, I think. All right, thank you all so much for joining us. Please put your views in the comments below. Please hit the like button. Please share this with a friend, and watch us on YouTube and Rumble. Thank you so much for joining us.